All right, kicking off another deep dive. And, today we are tackling artificial intelligence, AI, as most people are calling it.
Yeah, definitely seems to be everywhere.
And you've sent over some really cool stuff this time. We've got conversations with Jeff and Carl. They're actual AI experts. And then this huge report on how AI is like already changing things up for businesses, nonprofits, even governments.
Yeah, it's really fascinating to see how quickly it's being adopted.
It's kind of wild.
Okay.
So buckle up.
Definitely buckle up. It's going to be a fascinating ride.
So right away, like right out of the gate, Jeff and Carl made this point that's super interesting. They're like, adopting AI, it isn't just about adding another tool to what you're already doing. It's like a much bigger shift. Like they compare it to switching from horses to cars.
Ah, that's a great analogy. A total game changer. They're not just talking about automating a few tasks, but really a fundamental shift in how organizations, how they operate, how they make decisions, even what kinds of services they can offer.
And the report, I mean, it totally backs them up with some seriously impressive examples of how AI is already delivering benefits right now, like enhanced efficiency. That's a big one, right?
Yeah, that's huge. It's about doing more with less.
Exactly, and doing it better. Like imagine, right, a world where chatbots are handling like all those basic customer service questions 24/7,
Oh, that would be amazing.
no more waiting on hold.
And it would free up those human customer service reps to focus on the really complex
The
issues.
stuff that actually requires that human touch.
Right, exactly.
So it's not about replacing humans, but more about making them more efficient, more effective.
Right. Absolutely.
Okay, what about using AI for making smarter decisions based on data, right?
Yeah.
So, like, imagine analyzing real-time traffic patterns to help cities plan, their roads, their infrastructure better.
Oh, yeah, that's smart urban planning, using AI to make our cities work better.
Or using AI to, like, predict when equipment's going to fail before it actually happens.
Oh, predictive maintenance. That's a good one.
So you can avoid all that costly downtime.
Huge cost savings.
The report actually talks about a company that saved millions?
Millions of dollars just by using AI to, anticipate and prevent these equipment breakdowns.
It's amazing.
Talk about a return on investment.
Yeah, it's crazy. So we're seeing real benefits, not just hype. But I guess the question is, how does this stuff actually work? You mentioned machine learning earlier.
Oh, yeah, machine learning is well, imagine giving an AI a massive, massive data set and then kind of letting it loose to find patterns that humans might miss completely.
So it's like having, I don't know, like a superpowered detective who could just sift through mountains of evidence, right? And uncover these hidden connections.
Yeah, it's like Sherlock Holmes on steroids.
Right.
It's about finding those insights that we wouldn't see on our own.
And then there's predictive analytics, using data to forecast future trends.
Right, exactly. It's like having a crystal ball, but one that's grounded in actual data.
That's a much better kind of crystal ball, right?
Oh, absolutely.
One that actually works.
And the report, it's clear that businesses that are already using AI for predictive analytics, they're gaining a real advantage. They can kind of anticipate market shifts, optimize their operations, make decisions that are based on, solid evidence rather than just intuition.
So it's about making smarter bets.
Yeah, smarter bets based on data.
So AI, it can help us work smarter, make better decisions. But it also sounds like it's changing, like what's even possible, right?
Yeah, it's pushing the boundaries.
What are some of the more, like, futuristic applications that these guys, that Jeff and Carl are excited about?
Well, they're really into the potential of AI in robotics, especially in healthcare and manufacturing. Imagine robots powered by AI working alongside humans in factories or even performing surgeries.
Robot surgeons.
Sounds crazy, right?
It does, but I kind of love it.
It's closer than you might think, and on a maybe less flashy but equally impactful level, they talk about AI being used to analyze huge data sets to help governments make smarter policy decisions about, complex social issues.
So using data to solve real-world problems.
Yeah, to address those big societal challenges.
Okay, now let's talk about, the elephant in the room. When people hear about AI, their first thought is usually jobs. Like, is AI going to put everyone out of work?
It's the big question, right?
Yeah.
It's a valid concern.
For sure.
But Jeff and Carl, they're actually pretty optimistic.
Really?
Yeah, they acknowledge that some jobs will definitely be automated, But they also believe that AI will create new roles.
So it's not just about robots taking over.
Not at all. They talk about jobs like AI trainers, data scientists, even AI ethicists.
AI ethicists.
That's a whole new field.
That's fascinating. So it's
Yeah.
more about a shift in the job market.
Right, a shift in what skills are in demand. And they really stress the importance of upskilling, and adapting to this changing job market.
So we need to be proactive.
Exactly. AI, in their view, is a tool for human empowerment, not replacement.
I love that. A tool for empowerment. So yeah, I guess the takeaway is, we got to be proactive about learning new skills.
Yeah, lifelong learning is more important than ever.
Adapting to this, changing nature of work.
The future of work is constantly evolving.
Right, and AI is just one part of that evolution. Now, I know some people listening might be thinking, this sounds amazing, but we just can't afford it, right?
Yeah, I can see how people might think that.
But the report actually kind of pushes back on that we can't afford it mentality.
It's interesting. They argue that the cost of not adopting AI is actually going up. Think about it. Your competitors are already starting to use it for efficiency, to improve customer experience. If you don't adapt, you're going to fall behind.
So it's not just about staying ahead of the curve. It's about basic survival in the long run.
Exactly.
And the report also points out that AI can actually help organizations save money in a lot of different ways.
Absolutely.
We already talked about predictive maintenance, right? Reducing downtime, saving millions.
Yeah, that's a big one.
But there are other examples too, like AI-powered chatbots. They can handle so many customer service inquiries, which reduces labor cost.
That's a huge cost saving for businesses.
So AI isn't just for those, giant tech companies with tons of money.
Not at all. It's becoming much more accessible. The report talks about things like SaaS platforms, basically software solutions that you subscribe to online, and pre-trained models, which are kind of like pre-built AI components that you can customize to fit your needs.
So you don't have to build an AI system from scratch.
Nope. It's like buying a cake mix instead of, starting with raw ingredients.
So you still get the cake.
You still get the delicious cake.
But it's way easier.
Much faster and easier.
Okay, so we've got this powerful tech. It can transform organizations, but it's also becoming more accessible. This is where it gets really interesting, right?
Yeah, things are about to get exciting.
The report really emphasizes that implementing AI, it's not just about the tech itself. It's about the people, the strategy.
It's about how you use it. Jeff and Carl make a really great point about the importance of leadership. They say executives can't just, delegate AI to the IT department and expect it to magically transform the organization.
It has to be more intentional than that.
AI needs to be part of the organization's DNA.
So it's not about just buying some software and crossing your fingers.
No, it's about having a vision for how AI can help you achieve your goals.
And that vision needs to be shared. Right?
Everyone needs to be on board.
Communication is key.
Absolutely. Leaders need to clearly communicate why they're adopting AI, how it's going to benefit the organization, the employees, the customers.
And they also need to be ready to talk about those concerns and anxieties that people might have.
Yeah, like the impact on jobs.
Right, that's a big one.
They need to be upfront about that. And proactive about providing opportunities for retraining, helping people adapt to these new roles.
The report actually frames this upskilling as a major opportunity. Associated with AI, it's not just about replacing jobs. It's about creating new ones.
Yeah, and it's about helping existing employees develop the skills they need to thrive in this new AI-powered workplace.
So it's about empowering people, not replacing them.
Exactly.
Okay, so we've got awareness, education, leadership buy-in. What else is critical to consider as we start, going down this AI path?
Well, one thing that comes up constantly is the importance of data.
The data itself.
AI systems are only as good as the data they're trained on.
Garbage in, garbage out, right?
Exactly. So before you even think about implementing an AI solution, you need to take a good, hard look at your data. Is it clean? Is it accurate? Is it organized in a way that AI can actually use it?
The report actually mentions that a lot of organizations struggle with what they call siloed data, data that's kind of scattered across different departments and systems.
Oh, yeah, that's a really common problem.
And it makes it really hard to access and analyze effectively.
It's like trying to find a needle in a haystack.
So before you can even think about AI, you got to get your data house in order.
You need a way to bring all that data together, clean it up, structure it in a way that AI systems can actually work with.
And that probably involves more than just, fancy technology, right?
It's also about having the right people and processes in place.
People who understand data.
Yeah, data experts who can manage it, analyze it, and make sure it's reliable.
And you need clear processes.
For collecting, storing, and analyzing that data.
So data management is a critical piece of the puzzle.
It's the foundation.
Okay, so we've got awareness, education, leadership, buy-in, and the importance of data. Anything else that organizations need to keep in mind as they start exploring AI?
One crucial thing is the need for a phased approach to implementation.
Don't try to do everything at once.
Right. The report and Jeff and Carl, they all advise against that.
Start small.
Start with pilot projects.
Dip your toes in the water.
Exactly.
Before jumping in headfirst.
A phased approach allows you to experiment, learn, and adapt as you go. It minimizes risks and maximizes the chances of success.
So it's a journey, not a destination.
Implementing AI is an ongoing process.
There's always going to be new challenges, new opportunities to learn.
As technology evolves, we need to evolve with it.
So it's not about finding the perfect solution right away. It's about building a foundation for continuous learning and improvement.
Exactly. AI is not a one-and-done thing. It's a constantly evolving field.
And that ties back to what we were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
About leadership and culture, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Organizations that embrace this kind of agile, iterative approach to AI, those are the ones that are going to thrive in this new world.
They're the ones who are going to be able to adapt and succeed.
This has been so insightful. But as we wrap up this part of our deep dive, I'm curious about something. We've talked a lot about the practical side of AI, right?
Yeah.
But what about the bigger picture? What does all this mean for society as a whole?
That's the big question, isn't it? And that's exactly what we'll be exploring in the next part of our deep dive. We'll delve into the societal implications of AI, both the incredible potential and the complex challenges that lie ahead.
Stay tuned.
So we were digging into that AI roadmap before the break. Those practical steps for organizations to start using AI. We talked about awareness, education, all that.
Right. And having a clear vision for how AI can actually help. And, addressing those concerns that people might have. But I got to go honest, even after all this discussion, it still feels kind of overwhelming. Where do you even begin to, wrap your head around something as complex as AI?
Yeah, I totally get it. It can definitely feel intimidating. But Jeff and Carl, our AI experts, they have some pretty reassuring advice. They emphasize that you don't need to become a coding genius overnight to benefit from AI.
That's good, because that's not happening anytime soon.
It's more about, grasping the fundamentals, like what AI can actually do, how it works, on a basic level, and just as importantly, what it can't do.
So it's kind of like driving a car. You don't need to know how to rebuild the engine, but you do need to know the rules of the road.
Exactly. And learning to drive, there's going to be a learning curve with AI, but the more you use it, the more comfortable you'll become.
Practice makes perfect.
Exactly. The key is to just start somewhere, even if it's just a small pilot project, to kind of test the waters.
Speaking of pilot projects, the report actually suggests that a good starting point is to identify a specific problem within your organization, like something that's costing you time, money, or efficiency, and then see if AI could potentially help.
That's a really smart approach. By focusing on a well-defined problem, you can avoid getting lost in the, vastness of AI. Make sure that your implementation is strategic. Focus on getting actual results.
So it's about having a clear goal in mind.
Absolutely. What problem are you trying to solve?
Right. Okay, so let's say you've identified a problem. That seems like a good fit for AI. What's next?
That's where that education piece of the roadmap comes in. Jeff and Carl, they're really adamant that everyone involved in an AI project needs to have, at least a basic understanding of AI concepts.
Yeah. From the leadership making the decisions to the teams that are actually doing the work.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like giving everyone a common language.
So they can all communicate effectively.
Right. And it goes beyond just the technical skills.
It's also about understanding the implications of AI for your specific industry. How are other organizations in your field using AI to tackle similar problems?
Are there any best practices out there?
Yeah, are there any lessons learned that you can draw from?
So education is key, but I'm guessing it's also super important to have buy-in from everyone involved, right?
Oh, absolutely. If people are resistant to change, it's going to make things a lot harder.
It's like trying to push a boulder uphill.
That's why Jeff and Carl are so passionate about the role of leadership in this whole thing. They say it can't just be a top-down mandate. Leaders need to communicate clearly
Hmm.
about the why behind AI. How is it going to benefit the organization, the employees, the customers?
And they also need to be ready to address those concerns,
Yeah, those anxieties that people might have.
especially about the impact on jobs.
Transparency and open communication are essential.
It's about building trust, right?
Absolutely.
The report actually talks about this upskilling as a major opportunity that comes with AI. It's not just about replacing jobs, but also creating new ones and helping existing employees develop the skills they need to thrive in this, AI-powered world.
I think that's a crucial point. It shifts the focus from replacement to empowerment. AI is a tool to help us do more, be more.
Okay, so we've got awareness, education, leadership, buy-in. What else is critical to consider as we, embark on this AI journey?
One thing that comes up again and again is the importance of data.
The data itself.
AI systems are only as good as the data they're trained on.
Garbage in, garbage out.
Exactly. So before you even think about implementing an AI solution, you need to really assess your data. Is it clean, accurate, organized in a way that AI can actually use it?
The report mentions that a lot of organizations struggle with what they call siloed data that's kind of scattered across different departments and systems.
Yeah, that's a common problem.
It makes it really hard to access and analyze.
Like trying to find a needle in a haystack.
So before you can even think about AI, you got to get your data house in order.
You need a way to bring all that data together, clean it up, structure it in a way that AI systems can understand.
And that probably involves more than just, fancy technology.
It's about having the right people and processes in place.
People who understand data.
Yeah, data experts who can manage it, analyze it, make sure it's reliable.
And clear processes for collecting, storing, and analyzing that data.
Data is the fuel that powers AI, so you've got to
Right.
make sure you have a reliable supply chain.
Okay, so data management is a critical piece of the puzzle.
It's the foundation.
So we've talked about awareness, education, leadership buy-in, the importance of data. Anything else organizations should consider as they start exploring AI?
One crucial aspect we haven't really touched on yet is the need for a phased approach.
Don't try to do everything at once.
Right. The report and Jeff and Carl, they all advise against that.
Start small.
Yeah, start with pilot projects.
Test the waters.
Exactly. A phased approach allows you to experiment, learn, and adapt,
Minimize risks.
maximize chances of success.
So it's a journey, not a destination.
Implementing AI is an ongoing process.
Always new challenges, new opportunities to learn.
Technology is always evolving.
So it's not about finding the perfect solution right away, but building that foundation for continuous learning and improvement.
Exactly. AI is not a one-and-done deal.
It's constantly evolving.
It's a journey.
And that ties back to what we were discussing earlier about leadership and culture.
Absolutely.
Organizations that embrace this kind of, agile, iterative approach to AI, they're probably going to be the ones that really thrive in this new world.
They're the ones who are going to be able to adapt and
Yeah.
stay ahead of the curve.
This has been super insightful, but as we wrap up this part of our deep dive, I'm curious about something. We've talked a lot about the practical side of AI, right?
Yeah.
But what about the bigger picture? What does all of this mean for society as a whole?
That's a great question. And it's one that deserves some serious consideration. And you know what? That's exactly what we'll be exploring in the final part of our deep dive. We'll delve into the societal implications of AI, the incredible potential, and the complex challenges.
Stay tuned. Welcome back to our deep dive, into the world of AI.
AI for everyone.
That's what we're talking about, right? AI for everyone.
Yeah.
And we've, covered so much ground already, all those practical steps, the challenges, the opportunities for organizations. But now I think it's time to kind of zoom out a little bit.
Yeah.
And look at the bigger picture. What does this whole AI revolution mean for society, as a whole?
It's the big question, right? The million-dollar question.
Mhm.
And both Jeff and Carl are AI experts. And that report you sent, they offer some really interesting perspectives on this.
Jeff and Carl, they use this analogy. They say AI is like the electricity of our time.
Wow, that's a powerful analogy.
Oh, right.
It really makes you think.
Like, think about it. Electricity totally revolutionized life back in the early 1900s.
Mm-hmm. Changed everything. How we light our homes, how we work, how we communicate.
Everything. And Jeff and Carl, they're convinced that AI has that same potential to completely transform every aspect of our lives.
They even say that just like those businesses that resisted adopting electricity back then, kind of faded away, they think that the businesses that resist AI today are going to face a similar fate.
It's a bold statement, But when you see how AI is already disrupting so many industries,
Oh, yeah, from healthcare to finance, transportation, you name it.
it's hard to argue with them.
And you know that disruption is only going to pick up speed. It's going to get faster and faster. So the question is, how do we as a society respond to this massive
You know,
change?
the report you sent,
Yeah.
it does a good job of, highlighting both the incredible opportunities and the real challenges that AI brings to the table.
Two sides of the same coin.
Exactly. So on the one hand,
Yeah.
AI has this potential to help us solve some of humanity's biggest problems, right?
Yeah, like climate change, poverty, finding cures for
It's
diseases.
pretty mind-blowing.
Huge potential for good.
But then on the other hand, there are some valid concerns about things like job displacement. That economic inequality could get worse.
And even the possibility of AI being misused, right?
In the wrong hands, yeah, it could be dangerous.
Definitely some ethical considerations there.
So it's not all, sunshine and roses.
It's complex.
There are some tricky issues to figure out.
It's not a simple solution.
Definitely not. But one theme that I noticed that comes up both in the report and from Jeff and Carl is this idea of human agency.
That we have a choice.
Yeah, AI is a powerful tool,
Incredibly powerful.
but ultimately,
Mm.
it's up to us to decide how we want to use it,
We're in the driver's seat.
right? AI should never be seen as like a replacement
Mm-hmm.
for human judgment, for human decision-making.
It's a tool to help us make better decisions, not to make them for us.
And that means we need to be super careful about how we design, develop, and use these AI systems.
We have to bake in our values right from the start.
We got to make sure they're aligned with, our values
Yeah.
and that they're actually serving humanity.
It's about ethical design.
Exactly. And that brings us back to, what we were talking about before, about this need for constant learning, for adaptation.
AI is always changing.
The world of AI is constantly evolving, right?
And we have to be able to keep up,
You have to adapt
learn new things, and respond to those changes.
in a way that's responsible
Yeah.
and ethical.
Yeah. It's not enough to just understand the tech.
We have to think about those ethical implications, the societal impact,
Ask those tough questions.
about fairness, transparency,
Hmm.
accountability.
And those conversations need to involve everyone, not just the tech experts.
Yeah, we need ethicists, social scientists, community leaders.
Everyone has a stake in this.
Because ultimately, shaping the future of AI, it's a shared responsibility.
It's on all of us.
It requires all of us to be informed, to be engaged, and to be proactive.
We can't just sit back and let it happen.
We have to be active participants.
And Jeff and Carl, they have this great way of putting it. They say the future of AI isn't like some predetermined thing. It's something that we are creating right now through the choices that we make, the
Right.
conversations that we have, the actions that we take.
That's a really powerful thought. So as we wrap up this deep dive into AI, I want to leave you with this. The future isn't set in stone. We have the power to shape the AI revolution, to guide it in a direction that benefits all of humanity. So let's do this. Let's shape the future together. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. We'll catch you next time.